The following is an exclusive presentation of ESPN2, the worldwide leader in sports.
The World Baseball Classic, making America's game the international pastime.
El Clásico Mundial de Béisbol hace del pasatiempo estadounidense una pasión
The
internacional.
World Baseball Classic. Baseball is spoken here.
Day 2 in Puerto Rico, a sellout last night at Hiram Bithorn Stadium. Another one expected here tonight. The fans still filing in. The Netherlands makes its World Baseball Classic debut against the host team tonight in San Juan. A simple idea for a complex planet. Play the game, not for pennants, but for pride. Not for rings, but for bragging rights. Your uniform, a flag. Your talent, a testament to the land where it grew. So let the game bridge borders. For now, let a diamond define the goals. Ambassadors with bats, emissaries on the mound, bringing the world closer together by bringing baseball to the world. The first ever World Baseball Classic on the worldwide leader in sports. The World Baseball Classic is presented by Taco Bell. And welcome back to San Juan. The festive atmosphere expected once again. There's been baseball played already here this afternoon. And tonight, it will be Game 2 for Puerto Rico, Game 1 for the Netherlands here in Pool C in San Juan. Andrew Jones greeting some Major League Baseball friends. Fans here from around the world as the big stars have come out. And welcome back, everybody. I'm Brian Kenny alongside Steve Phillips. And if we've learned anything by now, an upset is possible in any round against any team, even the United States. We've seen that now, Steve. Tonight, we get to see Puerto Rico once again. The bullpen very deep. We saw that last night. And they've got the big stars. They've got a very good all-pro.
Well, that's right. Big-time players delivering big-time situations. Bernie Williams done it his entire career, mostly in postseason baseball. But this is postseason baseball in the spring, the World Baseball Classic. Tie game last night. Bernie Williams delivers a big base hit, but ultimately was the game-winning run. Bernie's the guy that's the catalyst to this offense. They need him tonight to get things going. This Puerto Rico team can't rest on Bernie Williams. They need the other guys to deliver offensively as well, but Bernie got it done last night.
We don't expect to see Carlos Delgado once again still with tendonitis. Who knows when he'll be available for Puerto Rico. As for the Netherlands, kind of a situation like Panama last night, Panama this afternoon. A lot of good players from their native land. However, there is one big gun that we're all familiar with.
Well, that big gun is Andrew Jones. 51 home runs last year for the Atlanta Braves. He is the slugger in all of baseball, and he's the slugger on the team from Netherlands. They're hoping that in the cleanup spot, he's going to clean up tonight as they get guys on base. They're resting their hopes on Andrew Jones delivering offensively.
There is a Dutch Major League, by the way, and there's some very competitive players there. We're going to be talking about those guys all throughout the night. You'll get to learn about them. Meantime, the business of Major League Baseball marches on, even though most of the players are here now in Puerto Rico. Jose Mota has more on Alex Cintron.
You're right, Brian. How about this? Well, we're in the Puerto Rican jersey here at the WBC. Alex Cintron learns he has been traded. He's going to be wearing a new jersey when he gets back to camp. He got traded for pitcher Jeff Bajanaro. Now, Alex told me himself, I'm very happy about the trade. Number one, I go to a winning team, and I have the opportunity to contribute with a manager that I really enjoy watching. Now he's going to play for him in Ozzie Guillen. Brian.
Jose, thank you so much. Yes, Ozzie Guillen rooting for Venezuela in the World Baseball Classic. Here, it'll be Joel Pinheiro of the Seattle Mariners taking on Rob Quartermans, who is a master in the Dutch Major Leagues. We're back in San Juan with the opening pitch right after this. There is Old San Juan, cultural hub here in San Juan, the capital of Puerto Rico. We're at Hiram Bithorn Stadium. This is the sports hub and sports pulse of the nation from this Commonwealth of the United States in Puerto Rico. And here are the standings. Puerto Rico with the win last night, going into the winner's bracket, in Cuba with the win this afternoon over Panama. So Panama, a hard luck 0-2. Panama played well last night, played well here this afternoon. Yes, Uleski Gurial, the star for Cuba, who is 3 for 4, but things got away late in the game. And after a 3-run home run by Andrew Jones, Panama battles back, almost coming through to win it in the 9th, but then in the 11th inning, rather, it is Cuba who comes through. It was so close. 8-6 the final score. Cuba beats Panama. Steve, we were watching that game. If Ruben Rivera, who did hit a 3-run home in that game to give him a 4-2 lead at one point, if he had just stood still in the batter's box with the bases loaded, and was there 1 out or 2 outs at that point? 2 outs at that point, then it'd be Panama with a win this afternoon.
Well, there were 8 batters hit by a pitch during this game. If he had been the 9th, they would have won the game. Unfortunately, he didn't stay in.
Here's the lineup for Puerto Rico. Bernie Williams, Pudge Rodriguez, Carlos Beltran, Javi Lopez, Alexis Rios, who hit the big home run against Panama last night to get them on the board against Lenin Pacoto, pitched a fine ball game. Alex Cintron. Luis Matos gets into the lineup, not Jose Cruz Jr. That's the one change in the lineup. And it is Jose Valentin in the lineup as well. This is brought to you by MLB 06, the show, and the pitcher is Rob Kortemans, who has unreal numbers in the Dutch league. That, no matter where you're pitching, Steve, 0.77 is the international language of baseball.
Well, that's pretty good. He's been the 4-time Dutch pitcher of the year, and he is their ace. He's a soft tosser. He does not have a lot of velocity in his fastball. He changes speeds, pretty good breaking ball and changeup. A lot like Lenin Pacoto, the pitcher for Panama, who faces Puerto Rico team last night. So the soft tossers keep the hitters off balance. Be interesting to see if Kortemans can get the job done as well.
Well, look, we were talking to guys before the game, and against the top guys in spring training, soft tossers can really wreak havoc on you.
Oh, they absolutely can, to keep the hitters off balance. And you know, the soft and softer big league hitters like to hit fastballs early in the year.
Bernie Williams steps in, 2 for 3 last night. Game-winning RBI. Got a huge ovation as he stepped in, so we're underway. Pool C, Netherlands making its World Baseball Classic debut. Kortemans paints on the inside part of the plate, 0-1. Great to see Bernie Williams come through. If you've been watching him through the years, the classy center fielder for the Yankees, no longer the starting center fielder for the Yankees, so playing in the World Baseball Classic and able to hear the cheers once again. Kortemans drops that in nicely, 0-2.
Nice breaking ball by Kortemans there. And we talked to Bob Welch, pitching coach for the Netherlands, and he says Kortemans has a very, very good curveball and a very good changeup. He goes soft, softer, and softest with his pitches. The fastball is a show pitch. The breaking balls are the out pitch.
Bernie just trying to figure things out, trying to get a good look. The manager for the Netherlands is Robert Einhorn, who played briefly for the Yankees and was a longtime minor league player for the Yankees. Bob Welch, his pitching coach. Bam Bam Meulen's on the bench. He's a bench coach for the Netherlands, so you can see some familiar names.
Well, Einhorn's career ended because a guy named Derek Jeter came into the Yankees organization and took his job.
Missed outside, 1-2. Kortemans led the league in wins and ERA for Door Neptunus. Neptunus is the club name. Door is the sponsor's name. That's, I guess, a management seminar firm in Holland. The 1-2. Missed inside, 2-2.
Well, they are the team over in Holland. 7 consecutive titles. Their minor leagues have won consecutive titles. Their little league team that they sponsor as well has won consecutive titles. So they are the New York Yankees
and the Boston Red Sox combined.
And, you know, Dutch baseball. That's right.
I was saying they're the Yankees of Holland. Doesn't quite do it. The 2-2. Missed outside, and Bernie Williams, just as he did last night, Steve, works the count.
Well, Bernie Williams, you can see him creeping up on home plate. He is just getting closer and closer, knowing that they're trying to pitch him away and everything's soft, that he can react and hit the inside pitch. So look for the Puerto Rican hitters to get up very close to the plate, knowing that everything is soft.
So Pudge Rodriguez on deck, due up second. And this is important when you're dealing with a guy who can get cute, foul back once again, just as it was last night. If you weren't watching at home last night, Lenin Pacoto 39 years old for Panama, got the start and was a guy who just changed speeds, worked location, did a beautiful job. And Bernie Williams, as you pointed out yesterday, showed everybody in the dugout, let's see some pitches from this guy.
Well, he worked the count in his first at bat yesterday as well, and Pudge Rodriguez swung at the first pitch in 2 of his 3 at bats, so hopefully some of that's going to spread through the lineup.
Went soft there, and that's to center field. And Andrew Jones collects it easily, but again, quality at bat for Bernie Williams. To see Andrew Jones out there in center field, the outstanding Gold Glover for the Atlanta Braves. Out there with him is Eugene Kingsale, familiar name in the major leagues. And Dirk Vanit-Klooster, who may not be a household name in the U.S., but may be by the end of this tournament.
May not be?
May not. Perhaps not. Not in my household. In your household?
Not yet.
Randall Simon at first. You saw the infield there. There's Vanit-Klooster, who hit 400 in the Dutch major leagues last year. Pudge Rodriguez steps in with 1 out. Quartermans gets that for a strike. Pudge last night lifted for Yadier Molina, and I don't know if you want to call it a defensive substitution, but it sure worked out, Steve. And swinging through that 0-2.
Really did. Yadier Molina comes in and makes a great throw on a stolen base attempt late in the game as Panama was trying to get a runner in scoring position and threw him out. And, you know, Molina's saying it was for defensive purposes. I'm not sure Pudge is willing to go along with it, but 2 of the better throwing catchers in baseball. And here it is right here. This is a tremendous throw. Great footwork, quick release. To second base in a critical time of the game.
That's in the 2-1 game in the 9th with a man on. The 0-2 drops it down. This guy can paint. Quartermans can get cute, and I mean that in a good, like a fighter. When you call him cute, that's not disparaging. And Molina threw out 55% of major league runners last year. That is Pudge Rodriguez like.
That's exactly right. He's learned, and a lot of the young catchers, they all look up to Pudge Rodriguez.
The 1-2 took something off that. Pudge Rodriguez smacks it into center field for a base hit. Rodriguez is on, and Carlos Beltran will step in.
Quartermans are throwing everything so slow. Pudge just keeps his hands back, does a good job, punches it right up the middle, doesn't try to do too much, stays on the ball. Good piece of hitting. Quartermans is throwing soft and everything up in the zone, and it's so soft that the hitters can really stay back and have more time to be able to judge breaking ball from fastball and still react, even if he comes inside with it.
Beltran 0 for 3 last night against Panama, and Quartermans tries a little heat, 87 miles an hour. Now, it looks fast, doesn't it, at 87, the way he's been throwing?
Well, to the hitters in there, you know, after Acosta came in last night for Panama throwing 96, I think it probably looks batting practice like right now.
Even when you're able to throw that slow and you zip one back in, that's still too slow?
Yeah, it's
that's too
pretty slow. That's
you
a
can
little
say,
slow.
Look, say it.
It's
too slow.
Well, 86. I mean, you have to be perfect with your location at 86 miles per hour. 90 and above, you have the ability to miss your spot, and because of the velocity, the hitter can't catch up at times. At 86, you have to have perfect location.
The 2-0. Hitters count, fouled back. Quartermans, again, as you mentioned, Steve, pitcher of the year 4 times in the Dutch major leagues. He was 2-1 in the 2005 World Cup. Beat the United States, by the way, in the '98 World Cup. Pitched a complete game, but that's not against major league players.
Well, tonight he's facing some of the best. And Puerto Rico's offense was stymied against Panama yesterday, and they're looking to break out today. They know that this is a team built for offense, especially day 2 into the tournament where the pitching may be a little thinner. They need to score some runs.
Now way behind, 3-1. This is a brutal middle of the lineup for Puerto Rico, even without Carlos Delgado. If Delgado is healthy enough to play in the second round, it will really be devastating. You saw Javi Lopez on deck. Alex Rios is after that. And 3-1 to Beltran. Ooh, wow. That's at 71.
That's the changeup right there. It's stealth-like, below radar speed, and you see Beltran way out in front on that ball, way out in front on it. He closed his eyes knowing, you know what, I better slow this down a little bit. Think up the middle. 3-2. Going to be interesting to see if Jose Oquendo starts Pudge Rodriguez in this situation. 3-2 count, 1 out.
There he goes. Fouled back. That changeup is what Dave Soup Campbell, our good colleague, would call the Bugs Bunny changeup. You know? 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out.
It stops right at home plate. And it's in this situation, 3-2 count. Oftentimes pitchers go fastball. For Quarterman, with the stuff he has to pitch backwards, so possibly look for a breaking ball or changeup even on a 3-2 count.
3-2 again to Carlos Beltran as he throws back over to first to look back. Pudge Rodriguez. Rodriguez used to be able to steal bases. He had 25 steals one year. That was when he was a younger man. He's a much lighter man now, though, so I don't know how much speed he's gotten back.
Maybe he got some speed from that, right?
You'd figure it could help. There he goes. Ripped to the gap in right center field. Drops in front of Andrew Jones. Pudge goes over to third, first and third, and only one out.
Well, Jose Oquendo decided, yes, I am going to start the runner in the 3-2 count. Quarterman get a ball up middle of the plate. Beltran doesn't get all of it, but he drives it into the gap. Here's Pudge Rodriguez. He's running. Good base running right here. He stops to make sure it falls in so he doesn't get doubled up, because he knows he's still going to get the third base if it does fall. Excellent base running. Great execution by Puerto Rico.
So 2 on, and Puerto Rico threatening already here in the first inning, and it brings up Javi Lopez. Lopez 2 productive years with the Baltimore Orioles, but injured through a big part of last year. It was 3 years ago where he slugged .687, which is the major league record for slugging by a catcher. Had that huge year for the Braves. High and tight, ball 1.
Quarterman has every one of his pitches up in the zone. They're all at the letters, and that's a danger zone with major league hitters, especially at this velocity. He's going to get in big trouble if he gets it up in the zone. He has to find a way to get to the corners and get it down. He's got to start throwing more soft stuff.
Ooh, that was very soft. Javi clutched. He might have clutched again. Look at him. Bill smiles like, man. And then he fouled it off.
Well, it is one of those ones. It is so soft. And even though the fastball's at 85, when a changeup's at 71 miles per hour, that 14 mile per hour differential is difficult to hit both pitches. If you're looking fastball and you're out there on it, even at 85, it's tough to react and hold it back at 71.
It's 1-1 as Quarterman throws over to first. Not that it would matter if he keeps giving up singles, but Quarterman's 21 pitches in. The pitch count is 65. That could be important if you don't have a deep pitching staff. The Netherlands, you'd figure by comparison, would not have a deep pitching staff. This guy is the ace, at least in the Dutch major leagues. So not a good sign for the Netherlands, but no runs as of yet. And taking off and stealing second base is Carlos Beltran. No throw. Beltran has one of the highest stolen base percentages in the history of the game. He rarely gets thrown out.
Well, he gets an excellent jump right there. Tremendous acceleration. Again, last year was only able to steal 17 bases, had a quad injury, just couldn't get that running game going. Now he puts himself in scoring position. Javi Lopez up in an RBI man, RBI situation.
Good job, guys. 88%. How about that? He had years where like 32 stolen bases, 1 caught stealing for the Royals. Wasn't thrown out when he was with the Astros. Big situation here for Puerto Rico. 1-2. Lopez, did he go? No, he didn't. Held back. So it's 2-2.
Well, the other thing that was good about that stolen base by Beltran is Javi Lopez does not have great speed. He is prone to the double play. Now getting to second base with 1 out takes him out of the double play situation. Ground ball, because the infield's playing back, brings in a run.
Pudge Rodriguez on third. There's Beltran at second. 2-2, 1 out. Just underway here in the first inning, and Puerto Rico threatening. Popped up. Sidney DeYoung, the catcher. Oh, and he overran it. Boy, the Netherlands could really use that out.
And again, when you're the Netherlands playing against Puerto Rico and all of the major league hitters, you can't give them extra outs, especially with runners in scoring position. He's going hard after it, checks the wall, and then had some difficulty picking the ball up again. It's a tough play because he knew that the ball was going to come down just as he was approaching the wall. Took his eye off it and lost sight.
So still 2-2. Young pointed to himself, said, "My bad." That doesn't help Quarterman's right here. Smack, but right at the shortstop. No! Riley Lejito dropped the ball. Pudge Rodriguez will score 1-0 Puerto Rico.
Well, a line drive right here, and sometimes this ball can be knuckling at you, and it makes it difficult to catch. Took his eye off at the last minute, trying to think maybe I could double off Beltran at second base, because he did come off pretty well, and unfortunately hit off the heel of the glove, goes into left field, and gives up a run.
I think that's definitely what he was doing, Steve. He wanted to look over at second, see if he could have a play. This is a guy who is out of Curacao, who has played in 128 international games and just lost track of that ball.
Well, I think if he had caught it, he had a shot at Carlos Beltran at second base. Beltran kind of accelerated off the base instead of freezing on the line drive, and he could possibly have been doubled if he did catch it.
Alex Rios steps in. Big hero last night. Had a home run. Big swing and a miss on the Bugs Bunny change. Let's get a closer look here, Steve.
Watch Beltran as the ball's hit. He kind of takes off a little bit, and he's like, oh, he might get it. And Lejito just took his eye off the ball. And again, those kind of line drives, they can knuckle at you and kind of dance around like a knuckleball pitcher.
So Javi Lopez gets a break. He's at first base. And the 0-1. Oh, sweet pitch from Quarterman as he tries to pitch out of trouble. And they had two shots at getting Javi Lopez behind the plate. DeYoung couldn't make the play. Lejito couldn't make a line drive that has to be made. And so Javi Lopez is on first, still just one out, first and third. And you get a couple extra trips around this lineup, you're going to see a lot more of Beltran and Javi Lopez.
But one thing to remember, Puerto Rico played last night for the Netherlands. This is their first game, so it was a little sloppy last night in the first inning for both teams. People are nervous. Guys are nervous, a little emotional. And I think the Netherlands right now just need to take a deep breath and settle down and try to get a double play ball right here. Get out of the inning with only having given up the one run, regroup, and see if they can't get something going offensively.
In for a strike, and he struck him out. Beautiful job of pitching by Rob Quarterman. And now they're two away. Did this nicely, Steve.
Nothing too fancy right here. He just comes with a fastball straight down the middle. Not a lot of movement on it. Rios was guessing. He fouled off and didn't look very good on the breaking ball, and they got into his head a little bit. He didn't know, should I look fastball? When a hitter is caught in between, should I look fastball, should I look breaking ball, you're in trouble. You have to think fastball, drive it the other way, and react to the breaking pitch. Rios got caught in between.
Alex Cintron steps in. Spent last year with the Diamondbacks. Thought he'd spent this year with the Diamondbacks, but will not. Will spend it with the defending world champions. Dealt today by the Chicago White Sox. So two outs, first and third, and that's down low. How did he react? You saw him in the parking lot.
I did. He called me over as we arrived at the park today, and I had seen online that he had been traded, and he's like, oh, he was a little distracted because he knows, you know, he has stuff at one camp. He's got to get moved around a little bit, but he's also happy. He said, look, if I'm going to be a role player, as he would have been with Arizona, he said, I might as well be on a championship team, and I think he's excited to play for Ozzie Guillen.
Way up high for a ball. And just to get back to another point, again, with those two gifts that the Netherlands gave to Puerto Rico. Look, this is Cintron, Luis Matos, Jose Valentin at the bottom of the lineup, as we're at 31 pitches right now for Quarterman. The world beaters, so to speak, are in the middle of this lineup for Puerto Rico. Those are the big guns, and they're going to do the damage. Nice smoke at 84 miles an hour from Quarterman. Look at this. He's got these guys thinking now.
Yeah, they have to be patient. You have to have an approach with Quarterman. When everything's soft like that, you have to tell yourself, think left center field for a left-handed hitter, so that you're staying back, seeing the ball longer, so that you're waiting. The tendency is, when you've seen a lot of 90-mile-an-hour fastballs, is feeling like you have to jump out there and try to hit it. You have to be patient and try to relax.
Back over to first. Javi Lopez, not much of a threat to steal, but with two outs, might do something. Beltran over at third, a lot of speed. Puerto Rico trying to punish the Netherlands here. Two miscues in the field by the Netherlands, and it's an excellent point, Steve. Look, we watched Cuba today, and people are raving over how great Cuba is. And look, they have a lot of talent, but they made a lot of mistakes today too. fouled back, and it's 2-2.
Now, they weren't perfect, there's no doubt. I mean, that was a great game this afternoon. A lot of energy in the park, a lot of back and forth. And Panama keeps on battling. They're just a little short talent-wise in matching up. But the Cuban team, how about Yulesky Gurriel, the second baseman? He is some kind of player. Great defensive plays, turned a great double play, big home run, and it was a fun game to watch.
He's lanky. He's got real power. I don't want to liken him necessarily to A-Rod, but I guess I just did. Look, I don't know what level talent he is comparatively. Can you do the equivalencies from Cuba to the U.S.? But I think it's safe to say this guy would be a great player in the major leagues. Or would you say good? Left field. A lot of room out there, but it drops in. A lot of space, no chance. What do you think, Steve? Again, I don't want to get crazy. And we're going to watch this defensive play first. This is Yulesky Gurriel, who plays third and then moved to second. So we're going to see him offensively and defensively. Your thoughts? Where would he fit in?
Double down the line. Look at that play right there as he's moving to the bag. Very heady player. He has great actions, loose body, great actions. He's got great bat speed, balance at the plate. He really is the whole package. I mean, he would be in the United States, I think, an extraordinary player. He'd be an all-star caliber player. You know, obviously not going to get that opportunity, but he, you know, his father's a star in Cuban baseball in the past. He has a brother playing with him as well, and a great talent.
Up high, and now it's 3-2, so a full count to Alex Cintron. He's worked this count on Rob Quartermans, whose pitch count keeps climbing.
Well, Randall Simon telling Quartermans he's going to play behind Javi Lopez at first base on the 3-2 count with 2 outs, as Lopez will be running on the pitch.
I'm going to talk to Bob Welch, pitching coach for the Netherlands, but that's 35 pitches now, so Bob's got to get guys going. The 3-2. Oh, he struck him out. Beautiful changeup. Rob Quartermans could have used a little more help, but he gets out of trouble, and Puerto Rico only gets one. We go to the bottom of the first after this. Thank you. Puerto Rico with 6 men to the plate. The Netherlands, though, down just 1-0. So all things considered, they did all right. Eugene Kingsale will lead off. Urindale DeCaster batting second. Ivanon Kofi third. Andrew Jones batting cleanup. Then Randall Simon, remember him. Charnel Adrana, the DH. Dirk Van het Klooster is the right fielder. The 400 hitter in Holland. Sidney de Jong, the catcher. And Riley Lejito is the shortstop. And Joel Pinheiro will get the start for Puerto Rico, 27 years old, a 6-year major league veteran with the Mariners. 7-11 last year. The ERA, I tell you what, the ERA, by the way, Steve, it's climbed every year for the past 5 years.
Well, he's got a lot of base runners. You're giving up a lot of base hits and some walks, and he has to refine his game. He has a great arm, but he has been more of a thrower than a pitcher, and I think he has to continue to refine that game. He has the talent. He showed flashes early, but he has not been consistent.
Eugene Kingsale steps in. Kingsale swing and a miss, and it's quickly 0-2. Kingsale spent 2005 in the Orioles system, played AA and AAA. Without a team going into 2006, a lot of guys, Steve, we've mentioned this, have a little showcase here in the World Baseball Classic. Rips this to left field. And going back, nice play, Luis Matos.
Very nice play by Matos there. He's typically a center fielder with the Baltimore Orioles, but playing some left field here. Takes a little bit of a banana route there. It's a little tougher in left field. It's a different angle of the ball coming off the bat, but stayed with it, made a nice catch. Good swing by Kingsale.
Take a look at Puerto Rico defensively. Matos in left, Beltran in center, and Alexis Rios in right. Javi Lopez, Alex Cora, Alex Cintron. Jose Valentin is the third baseman. Behind the plate is Pudge Rodriguez. So here is Urindale DeCaster. DeCaster, a prospect for the Pirates, and he hits this to short. Cintron up, and Cintron throws him out quickly. 2 outs for Pinheiro.
Well, DeCaster, Pittsburgh Pirates organization, has been a guy who hadn't hit about 258 his entire career. Last year at AAA hit 280 and went to the Venezuelan Winter League, hit 17 home runs, had a tremendous season, and the Pirates added him to the 40-man roster at 26 years old.
Here's Ivan Coffey. Plays for Instant Holland Almere, 283 in the Dutch major leagues. This is bugging me. What? Yesterday they have Carlos Lee. Panama has Carlos Lee. The Netherlands has Andrew Jones. Why are these guys not batting third?
So they get more at bats, get up in the first inning, and everything else. I think that there is a prestige factor for batting fourth.
Smoked but foul. Now, is that why?
It's because it is. I think that it's a status thing to be the cleanup hitter to bat fourth.
Right.
And I think that's part of it. You might think that, you know what, get them more at bats, get them up in the first inning in case somebody gets on to get a chance to drive in a run.
I think we figured it out. You know, sabermetricians have looked up that you got about, in a major league season, might be around, I think, between 50 and 60 more at bats per year. That's a lot per position. That's a lot, Steve. Now that wouldn't happen in this tournament, but how many times are we saying, and Coffey gets it, swing and a miss, 1 and 2. How many times are we saying watching Panama and Cuba, geez, if you had Carlos Lee third, he'd be on deck now, he'd be up. Makes a big difference. It's one slot, but it makes a big difference.
Well, it is a factor, but I think that the star should bat fourth is, I think, the reason why Andrew Jones is batting fourth.
The 1-2 bounced, and Pinheiro has himself an easy inning. So it'll be Andrew Jones leading off the second inning for the Netherlands. Didn't get him in this time. 1-0 Puerto Rico in San Juan. San Juan, Puerto Rico. This is Pool C. Big surprise with the United States. In Pool C, we've got Puerto Rico and the Netherlands. We'll talk about other scores in a moment. Rob Quarterman's now into 37 pitches. Had a rough first inning as Luis Matos, center fielder for the Baltimore Orioles, steps in here in the second inning. Down the pipe for a strike.
Well, Matos taking a fastball there, but sometimes that's good when you want to get in your first at bat, get a look and see what the velocity is, get a read, get a feel, get some sight on it so that you can gauge it the next fastball he throws.
Foul back, 1 and 2. That was the one change for Jose Oquendo. And Matos getting into the lineup, and Jose Cruz Jr., who started the first 2 games, won an exhibition for Oquendo against the Mets over the weekend. He had Cruz in the lineup both times, and Cruz brings a lot of power.
And he played an excellent left field yesterday as well. Cut some balls off down the line and charging, making some good throws. So Cruz did a nice job out there, but Matos is very good defensively as well.
Quarterman's misses there, 2 and 2. Quarterman's this year 14 starts in the Dutch major leagues, 13 and 1, and 1 save. So this guy can work. Carlos Delgado there, the dugout. Carlos Delgado again hasn't taken batting practice. Struck him out. Quarterman's gets the inside part of the plate. Mentioned the United States versus Canada. This got quite a reaction here in the stands. We saw that the Dutch players were watching it. In the stands, the Puerto Rican fans were cheering it. Canada come from behind yesterday and then flat out beating the United States today.
I'll tell you what, a little bit of an upset right there. Canada came fighting back against South Africa. They got 4 runs in the 9th inning to beat South Africa, but it gave them some momentum coming into the game today. Got out to an early lead and then held on for the win.
There's a strike. Quarterman's now with 3 straight strikeouts. He got Alex Rios, he got Alex Cintron, got Luis Matos, and now Jose Valentin steps in. So Quarterman's settling down, but by the time he's done settling down, he's going to be done. He's getting up around 40 pitches.
Remember, 65 pitch limit for starting pitchers in round 1 of the World Baseball Classic, and trying to protect the arms a little bit for guys who might not be in the best of shape. And he's deep into that 65 pitches right now, and they're going to have to get into that bullpen fairly early today.
This is pitch number 44 as that's put into center field. And no, into left center field, and it falls in. That ball just died in between Eugene Kingsale and Riley Lejito. Jose says, I'll take it.
He says, that's right, I'll take it, no problem. In the box score, it looks like a line drive. Got jammed a little bit there out in front, trying to hold back, but just found the right spot. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Alex
Cora will step in, bottom of the lineup, and again with The 2 miscues on Javi Lopez and the extra out given. This lineup will turn over. Bernie Williams is on deck for Puerto Rico. There he goes. First pitch. De Jong throw to second. Not in time. Valentin steals that cleanly.
Well, Jose Oquendo being very aggressive tonight. He's getting things going early, trying to get some momentum offensively, starting the runners, getting them in scoring position, and now Cora with a chance to drive in a run. Cora put the bat up there like he was going to bunt, even though he had no intention of bunting, trying to block the catcher's line of view. Pulls it out of the way. It also keeps the catcher back and not able to charge through to come up as aggressively with his throw, giving Valentin a chance to steal the base.
Got him swinging on that. 1-1. Netherlands, of course, has to get its pitchers ready. Smit getting ready in the bullpen. Okay, this could be a long tournament. You have to think of it that way. You've got to get your guys out there. Again, look at Panama. Within one day game after a night game, they're all done, basically. Going to finish this out. But if you can win one game, you're back in it, and you could be in back-to-back round-robin play. So it's strange, Steve. You could be in for a lot of baseball. You could be done in basically a 24-hour period.
That's why I think you have to worry about this game, the one that you're playing, win it, and then figure out how you're going to make it work the next day.
Down low to Cora, and now it's 2-1. Cora with the Red Sox, now 30 years old. A light-hitting infielder, had 9 years with the Dodgers organization. Free agent with Cleveland, then traded to Boston. Robert Einhorn looks on, down just 1-0, but again, his star pitcher is running out of pitches. And again, we talked to Panama last night, and they would much rather not have a pitch count. And I'm sure the Netherlands feels the same way. This was to protect major league pitchers. But for these players from other countries, they just want their guys to pitch. They're not worried about the shoulders and ligaments and getting ready for the season. This is much more important to them, this tournament. But rules apply to all teams. Foul ball, 2-2.
Well, I think the reason that they would prefer the pitch limits not to pitch counts not to affect them is, and you see the rules there for starting pitchers or for all pitchers as you go through it, 65 pitches maximum, 80 for round 2 and 95 for the semis and finals. The reason that the other countries don't want the pitch limits, they don't have the same depth as Puerto Rico might, as the United States and Venezuela, Dominican. You know, those countries have great depth. They can go really 1 through 13. These clubs had to kind of dig and figure out who the last 5 pitchers were going to be. They'd rather have their aces throw the pitches.
Ornamen's back to second, and Valentin is back in. And Bernie Williams is on deck. Alexander Smit is out in the bullpen for Holland. I say Holland. Half the team is from Holland, half the team from Aruba or Curacao, the colonies. They have the benefit of the old empire.
All under the umbrella of the Netherlands.
We call them Dutch. Call them Team Orange. The 2-2 up high, and the count is full.
You know, Brian, you talked a little earlier about Alex Cora and that he's a light-hitting player, but there's a reason, as light-hitting as he is, that he's on a major league roster. He does a lot of little things right. He just solid defensive player. We saw on the stolen base how he left the bat out in front of the catcher. Those are just little things, and it comes from playing a lot of baseball. Great instincts for the game. He doesn't have great talent. He doesn't have strength and speed and all of those other tools, but he is a baseball player. He does little things to help his team win.
The 3-2 took a lot off that and put into left field. Little indecision there, but Eugene Kingsale reins it in. And Cora is retired, 2 outs, and we go to the top of the lineup. Need more communication, I think, is what Kingsale is saying, or listen to me. If I call it, it's mine.
Well, there are priorities on pop-ups. Left fielder has priority over the shortstop.
Bernie Williams flew out his first time up. Gets the warm ovation. Hero of last night, game-winning RBI. Longtime Yankee great. And I don't use that term loosely. A truly great player. The past decade and a half for the New York Yankees. 2 outs, 1-0 Puerto Rico. Rob Quartermans takes a little off that as well. 69 miles an hour. I've been looking at every pitch, but I think that's a new standard.
So I think it's a record in this tournament, no question about it. It's the softest pitch that's been thrown.
How slow can you go? Might be the slowest pitch Bernie Williams has ever seen as an adult. Maybe going back to the Albany Colony Yankees.
That was amazing how Bernie talked about this is one of the last night was one of the biggest games he's ever played in. He's played in a lot of big games, but playing in front of his native Puerto Rico crowd and fans, he wanted to deliver.
Inside for a ball, 1-1. Now again, this is saying something. When you are in the top 6 hits, home runs, and runs in the Yankee all-time ledger, that's saying something.
I mean, with any team it says something, but when it's part of Yankee lore and Yankee tradition and history, it tells quite a story of a career.
The 1-1, and he drops it in beautifully. Quartermans finds the strike zone, 1-2. Bernie Williams, again, when all is said and done, that Yankee dynasty of the late 90s, as we get a close look at Bernie's eyes watching that ball in, is going to rank up there with the Yankee dynasties of the late 30s, late 20s, and early 50s. That's 4 championships and 6 pennants. And he's the foundation. The 1-2. Then went to the fastball. Nice little chess game between Quartermans and Bernie Williams. And going back through the years for Bernie Williams, and granted, Steve, you mentioned he's the all-time postseason leader, games, home runs, and RBIs, and of course that's different from the old days where there was 1 round of playoffs. Now there's much more, but still, Bernie Williams has had so many great moments in the postseason.
Well, the thing's been interesting to me in the whole tournament, all around the different pools, it's those players who have played a lot of pressure-packed baseball that delivered. David Ortiz did it for the Dominican. Jason Varitek with a grand slam today. Bernie Williams with a big hit yesterday.
Up high for a ball, and Bernie Williams, who went deep in the count in the first inning, now works it a little more, so 2-2.
A lot of the young players that are playing for their countries here, you know, that get a chance to play in winter ball. When you're in the States and you have players that play winter ball, you just know that is such a process. It helps their development so much to get a chance to play in the pressure of winter ball, and certainly for these kids playing in this tournament as well.
The 2-2. Struck him out. Quartermans wins that duel as he gets up to 56 pitches. Getting near the end for Quartermans, keeps his team close. It's 1-0. Here at Bithorn Stadium, here the World Baseball Classic. World Baseball Classic is presented by Taco Bell, and you want to watch some games tomorrow? Get up early, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, South Africa versus Mexico, and then 1 o'clock Eastern Time tomorrow, Italy versus the mighty Dominican Republic. All games are available on ESPN Deportes. My son Pete found us on ESPN Alternate on the dish last night, so we welcome all of you watching us there. Brian Kenny, Steve Phillips, and Jose Mota here with you as Joel Pinheiro deals to Andrew Jones, the star of the Netherlands team. Nice hook from Pinheiro. Big power by Andrew Jones. 51 home runs last year, of course. 28-year-old all-star at the very top of his game. He slugged .575 last year. Pinheiro working him on the 0-2.
Well, Pinheiro really looks sharp tonight. His fastball has great sinking movement on it, going to the breaking stuff, and he's pumping strikes. He says, we have a lead. I'm going to just pound it in there and see what they can do.
Threw the curveball there, third base. Valentin up, and Andrew Jones is retired. Randall Simon is stepping up now. This tournament means an awful lot to Randall.
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. I mean, you could, if you have saw the faces on the guys, you know, like when we went from Bradenton to Orlando, and when they saw, you know, like, you know, most of them, they haven't experienced this. You know, you have to see the look on their face, you know, like how amazing they saw, their eyes looked, you know, at the time, because they couldn't believe, you know, what they were going through, and I think it's awesome.
Randall Simon has been with the Braves, Tigers, Pirates, Cubs. Bounces this to second base. Alex Cora, a little soft toss. Quickly 2 outs. They need production out of Jones and Simon, that's for sure, Steve.
Well, they definitely do. It was interesting hearing him. He said when they went from Bradenton to Orlando, they worked out as a unit in Orlando once the teams were able to go to a camp. But Robert Einhorn, the manager of the Netherlands team, he brought his team to Bradenton, Florida, to the Pirates camp for 2 weeks to try to work them out, to get them, to drill them, get them playing together, and getting them ready for this tournament. So they've been very, very serious about this, hoping to make a good show.
Charnal Adrana, the designated hitter, steps in against Joel Pinheiro. Pinheiro, this is a dream for him and for his manager, Jose Oquendo, right now, as he is on a short pitch count right now. He threw 9 pitches to get through the first inning. Just a couple more here. He's working quickly. The opposite on the other side of things, where Rob Quartermans is up at 55 pitches. 17 pitches so far for Joel Pinheiro. Nice big hook. If you can save your bullpen, especially if you're Puerto Rico and you think save the bullpen, getting a solid start, get a win here, you're 2-0. Now you're looking at, you're going to be playing in the second round, so you're going to need everybody.
Well, I think that, you know, with the limits, I think that we saw yesterday, Jose Oquendo he ran a bunch of his guys in there to get work, and they really delivered for him. They did a nice job. The rules pretty much allow that you're not going to get burned out, with off day scheduled for Puerto Rico tomorrow as well. But for Pinheiro, what I like today, he's always been a guy that had a tendency to overthrow and do too much. He's just throwing strikes. He looks very smooth, not trying to do too much, and his breaking ball has been very sharp.
Adrana tore up the AAA Mexican League last year. AAA Mexican League, but he hit 368. Bounces that back foul, stays 1-2. Led the league in runs scored. Spent the last 6 years in Mexico. Stevie had 8 years in the Blue Jays organization. Again, he's been around, 35 years old.
He's a baseball player. Have glove, will travel. If there's not a job in Holland or Curacao, I'm going to go find a job somewhere, AAA in Mexico.
Struck him out. Joel Pinheiro is dealing another 1-2-3 inning. He's retired 6 in a row. Pudge Rodriguez, Carlos Beltran, Javi Lopez for Puerto Rico when we come back.
This telecast of the World Baseball Classic, presented by Taco Bell, is brought to you by Budweiser. Bright, crisp, clean, pure. This is Budweiser. This is beer.
That's not a Budweiser.
That's a pina colada right
there. But it'll do. Top of the third, yes. 1-0 Puerto Rico. Festive crowd here tonight. Very festive this afternoon too, Steve. I know, for all the thought of, well, you have Cuba here. Will you have, you know, an armed guard? And they did. There's Puerto Rico police, and Puerto Rico looked like Army members and militiamen around, but it didn't feel like some sort of boot camp as Pudge Rodriguez steps in on Rob Quartermans. It still felt festive. It felt like just a good baseball tournament, not an oppressive feel of security here.
I was surprised at the number of Cuba fans that were here cheering for them. I didn't anticipate that. I thought that they'd get more booing and not that sort of attention, but there are 20,000 displaced Cuban-born people living here in Puerto Rico, and obviously some still supporting the baseball team, if not the politics and all the other stuff that goes on. But it was interesting. There was a lot of energy supporting Cuba today.
I think it's a treat just to have the Cuban team here. Here's the 2-0 to Pudge Rodriguez, and I think to me, this made the whole tournament relevant, because otherwise, and this has been pointed out in a number of places, you can see the world's best players at the height of competition. It's called the regular season. It's Major League Baseball, but you don't get to see Cuba. I think it's good for them. I think it's good for the United States. It's good for everybody. I'm glad the State Department worked out the whole deal as he fouls it back and makes it 2-2. So we could see Cuba and let them compete and let us see their players. Let's open things up.
Well, Cuba's participation made it credible. It made the tournament credible. It really is the World Baseball Classic. Otherwise, it would have been the World Baseball Classic, except one of the better baseball powers in the world. So I think it does make it credible, and I think it makes it that much more interesting, being able to watch, you know, the mysteriousness of some of these players we don't get a chance to see. You know, there's that mystique about the Cuban baseball. You know, we go through our media guide and you look at all the pictures. They have headshots of everybody. All the Cuban players, they don't smile. They all have that kind of and it's part of their marketing of what they are in their program, and that mystique of Cuban baseball.
That we're not playing games.
Yeah, they're serious about it. So I just think it's great that they're part of it.
2-2 to Ivan Rodriguez. Rob Quarterman's getting up near his pitch limit already. Ground ball to shortstop. And 1 out on Pudge Rodriguez. Again, let's get a little more with Jose Mota. Quarterman's near the limit here, Jose.
I'll tell you what, this guy is amazing. I tip my hat to him. When you look at where I'm at and watching the slope of the mound, mechanically, I can see why this guy has had success pitching internationally. He really follows his body well, changing speeds of his changeup, as you guys were talking about, but also very solid. Even with a high pitch count right now, we can see why this guy has been effective, even with an 87-mile-an-hour fastball. All
right, 62 pitches. Jose, thank you, and we appreciate your vantage point here. And Carlos Beltran puts this to left field. I was about to say this will be it, the last batter, but no, not so fast, my friends. Beltran swinging at that first ball. He's now at 63. He can now finish out this batter, which will be Javi Lopez.
Well, there's a technical committee that is another name for somebody who counts pitches during the game, and they alert the umpires as to when the pitcher gets close to that pitch limit so that they know. Right now, the umpires have been alerted that he really only has 2 more pitches till he hits the limit. They'll let him finish the hitter, but then they're going to have to go to the bullpen. It looks like Alex Smith would be coming in.
You know, it's a shame too, Steve. I'd love to see Quarterman go as long as he could. You know, let's see what he can do. I mean, this is a guy who's got 4 strikeouts against Puerto Rico. He's given up 1 run. There was an error out in the field for the Netherlands, another dropped ball, so he's had some hard luck, and it's still only 1-0. And this is Puerto Rico. This is a top-flight international team with major league quality stars.
Now, Quarterman has settled down. His first inning, he threw a lot of fastballs. That is not his bread and butter. He really has to throw the fastball off of his breaking stuff and changeup, as where most pitchers would go fastball and work off of that.
Javi Lopez crushes this, and it is way gone. That was annihilated.
Well, in Javi's first at bat, he double clutched on a pitch and looked silly, but he got a chance to time it now, second time around, and there you see it. He was all over that hanging breaking ball up in the zone, and that's what happens with Quarterman. It's that soft toss of stuff. The deeper he goes into the game, the hitters start timing him, he can get in trouble.
That was on pitch 66 from Rob Quarterman. He has to go. Alexander Smith, Twins farmhand, will come out. We're back after this. Puerto Rico with a little more to cheer about. 2-0. Host team, the away team here this evening in tournament play. And after the Javi Lopez bomb, Alexander Smith comes out. You see very good numbers in rookie ball for the Twins minor league team, Elizabethtown. ERA of 1.97, moved up to Class A, didn't have as much success. But he's a young guy, only 20 years old. Alexander Smith, Twins minor leaguer, comes on in relief of Rob Quarterman, who pitched well, but Javi Lopez made an adjustment, and he just, as you said it, look, between innings, Steve, you turned to me and said, that was a bomb. I mean, that was crushed.
Well, listen, baseball is a game of adjustments. You learn from every at-bat. You learn from pitch to pitch. And Javi Lopez early double clutched on a pitch. He struggled with the timing off of Quarterman's, but then the next time around got his timing down, and boy, that was an absolute bomb. It was only a matter of whether it was going to stay fair.
So Smith, the left-hander, dealing to Alexis Rios, who hits this deep into right field. Dirk Van 't Klooster reins this in. Javi Lopez makes it a 2-0 ball game. Smith out quickly, 1 pitch in. It's 2-0. We're back in San Juan. You're watching ESPN's telecast of the World Baseball Classic presented by Taco Bell. This is action in Pool C from Hiram Bithorn Stadium in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action. Top of the 4th, Alex Cintrone steps in and takes a strike from Alexander Smith. Smith came on and got out very quickly. Made a pitch to Alex Rios, got a fly out. after the tremendous home run by Javi Lopez. 2-0 ball game here in the 4th inning. The Netherlands had an opportunity in that last half inning, had him loaded, couldn't get it done, and once again leaving Andrew Jones on deck.
It's really bugging you, isn't it?
It's killing me.
You can't let it go.
It doesn't make sabermetric sense. And I saw it yesterday when you have one big gun. And I know what you're saying. It is the old school, because you grow up thinking, where does your big guy play? He bats cleanup, but it doesn't make sense. Look, if you've got Nick Johnson with a 440 on base in front of him, that ball is scorched to left field, but right at Eugene Kingsale. It makes sense then to bat your guy with an on base and a good high batting average third, and then you get your power guy. And both Carlos Lee and Andrew Jones are traditional cleanup hitters. Now, even that their batting average is low, they don't draw many walks, but they're going to slug about 560 to 580.
I think it's just the home run call still got you all worked up here now, all right? Who knows? Maybe Andrew's going to come up in a situation where batting fourth is exactly the right spot for him.
But you'll have many more opportunities, even in a small sample set like this tournament, if you're batting third rather than fourth. How many times did we see it, even with Panama and Cuba today? Like 3 times, didn't we?
Well, I would have thought that Andrew could pretty much write the lineup himself, don't you think? He ought to go say that.
I'm just saying, there's more prestige. There's prestige as Luis Matos steps in. He struck out his first time out. There's more prestige in what? Winning the game. Maybe winning the tournament, getting into the second round. That's where the prestige lies. Andrew Jones will lead things off for the Netherlands. It's only a 2-0 ball game. Again, feels like Puerto Rico is kind of an overwhelming force here, but it's only 2-zip. Dirk Vennetkluster might figure in before all is said and done. The 1-1.
Well, Luis Matos is challenged this year a little bit. He's here playing for Team Puerto Rico. They picked up Patterson from the Cubs in the offseason, and he's going to have to fight for some playing time in center field now this year. But he thought it was worth coming here to play. As a lot of players did in the World Baseball Classic, and boy, it has been a triumph so far.
Way up high, zipped up a fastball, and it's 2-2. Smith looks decent so far, Steve. I mean, we haven't seen a few pitches here, but this is a 20-year-old kid.
Yeah, he's just getting all kinds of experience here. When you're developing young players, you want them to gain experiences. If they can play in the playoffs in the minor leagues, that's great. If they can play winter ball, that's great. This goes so far in helping young kids develop. It's worth 3 months of a minor league season being in this sort of environment, pitching against big league hitters, testing his emotions, testing his poise, testing his stuff, gaining confidence. This kid will be much better for it.
Lost inside. So Matos is drawing a walk on 3-2. Of course, we are in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and the all-time great for Puerto Rican fans, of course, is the great Roberto Clemente. Clemente, 3,000 hits, an all-round star, great arm. Showcased it. Look at this arm. It's such a pleasure to watch. Great on the base paths. A great humanitarian, lost his life trying to help others after a hurricane in Nicaragua. Roberto Clemente, his number 21 is here at Hiram Bithorn Stadium and remembered always. So 1 out, 1 on. Jose Valentin steps in. I remember just as a kid, Steve, watching Clemente and trying to watch him on the Game of the Week, and Al Kaline. You know, guys don't. I've had these conversations with Peter Gammons on Baseball Tonight. I don't know why this is. Guys don't seem to throw the way they used to throw, and to see Clemente, to see Al Kaline throw the way they used to throw, I don't know why it's not done that way now. These guys are bigger and stronger. I don't know why not.
Well, I'll tell you why guys don't throw like they used to, because they don't throw enough. We look at the players here in Puerto Rico and from some of the Latin American countries where they play baseball over and over every single day, and you gain arm strength by throwing. The more you throw, the more you do it. In the States, kids don't throw as much. They don't play as much baseball anymore, and it affects the tools that they have to play the game.
Smith drops that outside. Let's go to Jose Mota for more on Roberto Clemente. Jose?
You're talking about Clemente, former teammate of my father, Manny, and I remember my dad telling me one time that when I used to rain a lot here in Puerto Rico in the wintertime, Clemente would make a call, hey, Manny, I got to fly down to Dominican. Well, for what? Aren't you enjoying your time off? He goes, no. It's raining so much here, I'm going to go down and hit BP and come back the next day, believe it or not.
Wow. Talk about dedication to your career. And You know, I mean, Roberto Clemente, you talk about the tools to play the game. He was a 5-tool player. He had speed, he had power, he had arm strength, could field his position, hit for average. I mean, the numbers, look at that, 12 gold gloves and 3,000 hits. An extraordinary player, extraordinary person. A lot of talk about should they retire his number in the United States in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, look, it's a difficult situation. The only man to have that done was Jackie Robinson. Certainly Clemente had to break barriers himself, come through. It wasn't easy at his time. You see Orlando Cepeda's number next to his. It wasn't easy at his time coming through as a Latin American player.
Both Cepeda and Clemente in the Hall of Fame.
The 2-1. Runner was going, and there's a base hit. So Puerto Rico with 2 on Smith, here with just 1 out.
You know what? Another thing my dad was telling me, Clemente always said, well, you know what? I'm not getting the respect that a guy like Willie Mays gets in the media and the press. So all the Latin players decided to one day really get to his skin and tick him off. So they say, you know what? You don't get mentioned with Willie Mays because you don't drive in runs and you don't hit home runs. He goes, man, you saw a new man. He cursed us out after that meeting. We were having a little espresso in the corner of the clubhouse. He goes, after that, he started turning on the ball, driving in runs, and every time he scored, said, how about now?
I remember seeing pictures of Roberto Clemente swinging at the point of contact with his rotation and his swing where both feet are off the ground.
Is that possible?
Because it is possible. I saw Andrew Jones do it last year as well. It seems unbelievable, but you rotate and the power comes up and everything comes up through your body. Your feet come off the ground.
Here's Alex Cora with 2 on and 1 out. Well inside, 1-0. We saw the Pudge Rodriguez getting ready to hit. It'll be Bernie Williams on deck and then Pudge. We saw the numbers, 317, and you know what, Steve? Again, it's lost in the context of the time. 317, and I believe his batting average, whatever it was for the 60s, not even counting the 1970s, was the highest batting average for that decade. So if Clemente is playing and he plunks him, and the bases will be loaded for Bernie Williams. So a hit by pitch. Smith in all sorts of trouble here as the big guns are coming up. You take that 317 batting average, put it in the context of the 1930s or even the 1950s or certainly the 1990s. It's not 317. It's more like 335. He was batting in a severe dead ball pitcher's era.
Extraordinary talent.
Bernie Williams is a big-time talent. Hall of Fame candidate at the very least, and he steps up here in a big situation, and they're going to have a chat with Alexander Smith if they do even indeed leave him in. Bases loaded. Bernie Williams up. Pudge Rodriguez on deck. Carlos Beltran after that.
Well, young Smith's kind of lost his emotional control here a little bit. He's got to take a deep breath. This is exactly what they should do. Bob Welch out talking to him, trying to get him to calm down, get him back in the strike zone. This inning's gotten away from him, and with the crowd getting into it, young guys start to think, I have to make a perfect pitch. I have to try to do more. He needs to relax, let his body slow down, and get the arm out in front.
Guys will speed up too, as well. Robin Van Doornspeek is in the bullpen. Bases are loaded for Bernie Williams. Puerto Rico already with the 2-0 lead. Fouled back, 0-1. Van Doornspeek, by the way, also with Door Neptunus, the dominant club in Dutch Major League Baseball. Break up Door Neptunus.
Well, I tell you, Bernie Williams up right now, and it just happens to be another RBI situation. There's one thing to drive him in, but Bernie always seems to be the guy coming up when runners are on base, and this crowd is supporting their guy.
So you have that gut feeling that this is a clutch hitter. There have been years, and look, not every single year, but there are years where Bernie Williams has led the league in batting with runners in scoring position. And now it's 1-1. You have that gut feeling about guys, Steve, and you wonder, is that a real feeling? Is that, can I prove that? And oftentimes Bernie Williams was a clutch hitter. Puerto Rico 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position tonight. 1 for 9 last night. The one was Bernie Williams. Smacked the other way to right field. And over the head of Dirk Van Klooster. 1 run will score. 2 runs will score. No, he's thrown out. Oh, the gun on the relay. And with it going over the head, Valentin had to wait up, and he is gunned down at the plate. Bernie strokes one to right field over the head of Van Klooster and makes it a 3-0 game.
Well, good piece of hitting by Bernie right here. He knows he just has to get the ball up, driving it to right field. Van Klooster gets turned around right there, and the ball gets over his head. Waits for it to come down. The runner's waiting to get a look at it. Throwing out at the plate.
It's a strong relay.
Good relay on the play, and Valentin waited to see if the ball fell in. It did not get a very good jump. He should have been further off the base to put himself in a position to score.
Einhorn will come out, and that should be it for Smith. And Bernie Williams comes through again. It's 3-0. We're back in a minute. We return here in the top of the 4th. Bernie Williams comes through with an RBI double, but only 1 run comes in as Jose Valentin is thrown out. New pitcher on Alexander Smith goes out. Robin van der Speek of the Dutch League comes in. Good numbers in the Dutch major leagues. But Steve, I think the video will confirm what you thought, that Valentin did not get a jump here at all.
Well, with 1 out in this situation, you know, Valentin's on second base. He's reading the ball hit to the outfield. Obviously, you tag from third base, but Valentin should be halfway, especially because Van Klooster got turned around in the outfield. He could have gone back and tagged. He's already in scoring position at second base. His momentum was going all the way back to the bag at second. Van Klooster, very nice job on the relay.
And that's
Caster, nice job and a good strong throw to home plate. But Valentin should not have been going back to the bag and tagging. He should have been off, moving away. And then even if Van Klooster had caught it, he could have gone back and tagged and still advanced to third because he had gotten so turned around.
We saw Alex Cora almost get up on his heels. So Cora was able to make that decision. And again, Yurandel de Caster made a very strong throw to the plate. He got it. He also had a very quick release there, Steve.
He showed some arm strength. And again, it's not a very deep right field here. This is a hitter's park. The wall's not very deep, so DeCastro really only made that throw from deep second base. With nobody out, Valentin should tag, because you go to third, even if it falls in, you still have opportunity to score runs. With 1 out, you have to score if that ball falls in. We'll see if that's a play that later comes back to hurt Puerto Rico if somehow the Netherlands can get a rally going.
How about Bernie Williams, though? Again, the one man to get a hit with runners in scoring position. He strokes a double. Pudge Rodriguez comes in, another big situation for Puerto Rico. Men on second and third, 2 outs, and Robin van der Speek steps in to face the All-Star. Missed on the outside part of the plate, 1-0.
Well, I like that Van Rodriguez is taking some pitches tonight. Last year he struggled offensively, and it's because he was swinging at everything. He didn't work the count. He didn't walk at all. He just was swinging. He needs to be more patient this season. He didn't last night. He's been a little more patient tonight.
Right side, Van Klooster is there, and this one he reins in. So Puerto Rico misses an opportunity to pile on, and the Netherlands stays at least close, but still a 3-0 Puerto Rico lead. We return after this. Bottom of the 4th, Pool C here in San Juan. Puerto Rico with the 3-0 lead on the Netherlands. Andrew Jones, Randall Simon, Charnal Adrana for the Netherlands in this half inning. Jose Oquendo is the manager for Puerto Rico, and he joins us right now. Jose, you've had your share of crafty right-handers that you've faced here. You got through Quarterman's all right. What did you think of that guy throwing slow and slower tonight?
Well, the guys, I mean, they did a good job taking more pitches. Yesterday we swing every first pitch we saw, and today we're more patient and making the guy throw more strikes. So that's why his pitch count went high that quick.
Was that a point of emphasis, again, just to let people know? Lenin Pacoda pitched for Panama against you last night. He had the same type of action that Quarterman's had tonight. Was that a point of emphasis for you?
We talk about it a little bit in the locker rooms, and we talk about being more patient. If you're going to swing the fair pitch,
instead of trying to hit for the fence, trying to hit for more line drives.
It's a lot more fun managing with a lead, huh, Jose?
Well, it's never easy. So right now we got to make sure Pineda's doing okay. The last inning kind of struggled a little bit, so we're watching him real close.
Now, when you look at the Netherlands team with Andrew Jones at the plate right now, is kind of the strategy, let's keep guys off base in front of Andrew and work around him?
Yeah, that's one. If we had to go pitch around him, we will. Well, one of the things we did to talk today about it was be more aggressive, trying to run more in the bases. So that's why you see the guys running more.
Jose, thank you. Good luck.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Jose.
Jose Oquendo, manager of Puerto Rico, here with the 3-0 lead. 0-2 now here to Andrew Jones. Stays 0-2, fouled it back.
Jose Oquendo, the bench coach for the St. Louis Cardinals, had been the third base coach. Now he's going to be sitting next to Tony La Russa on the bench. And I tell you, there's not many better places to learn for a young guy with aspirations to someday be a major league manager than sitting next to La Russa. He's always thinking through the game. You can pick up an awful lot.
Struck him out. Pinero gets Andrew Jones. Pinero did struggle a little bit in the last half inning. In the third, he had the bases loaded with a walk and 2 singles, but he looks good here.
Well, I threw him a changeup right there, and Andrew's looking for fastball. Couldn't quite stay back out in front. Really nice pitch by Pinero.
So Jones is retired, and it brings up Randall Simon. Simon bounced out his first time up. Again, a major league veteran. Played last year in Japan, and then played in Mexico. Looking for a job. Experienced major league player, again with 4 different organizations between 1997 and 2004. He did not go, so that's a ball.
Well, for a lot of players like Randall Simon that have had a little bit of time in the big leagues, and even for other guys who have never had that chance, they're hoping to perform.
1-2.
You have major league scouts that are down. I know every club got a couple tickets. You see some of the scouts there in the stands. They have the radar guns taking notes, and they're going to report back. And I'll tell you, there will be some players signed out of the World Baseball Classic for representing their countries.
That ball falls in for a base hit. Now gets away from Luis Matos, and big Randall Simon lumbering into second base. Good hustle. Cintron couldn't get it. Took a weird bounce in front of Luis Matos.
We're playing on a turf field. Kind of, it looks like grass, but you know there's sand within it as well. And here you see Simon gets jammed a little bit, just strong enough to muscle up over shortstop and Cintron. The ball kind of kicks away from Matos. But it is a turf field. Interestingly, mixed in among the green that you see out there are some rubber type particles. It's actually broken up Nike tennis shoes.
Really?
Mixed in on the field out there.
Charnel Atrana struck out his first time up, and he swings and misses, so 0-1. So a lot of old sneakers out there.
A lot of old sneakers kind of mixed in within what the grass-like substance is there.
Stuff flies, too. When the ball bounces after it's been in the air, you can see stuff fly. It almost looks like sand, and I guess that's the rubber. Bounce to short. Cintron up. Gets the out. Simon moves over to third.
Well, we're fortunate to be playing a night game tonight, but during the daytime, this turf soaks up the heat. They registered it at 150 degrees today on the playing surface earlier today.
Wow. Was it hot, Jose? Let's go to Jose Mota.
Oh, ESPN was so nice letting me wear that polo shirt. It was beautiful down here. What do you mean 150?
150.
But you know what? Towards the end of the game, we did notice some guys maybe a little fatigued, including Panamanian catcher Ruiz.
I would think so. And here's Vennet Kluster, bounces this. First pitch, Cintron, no, it gets away. The Netherlands gets a run as the throw from Cintron get by Javi Lopez. Bad throw by Cintron.
Well, more often than not, when it's a bad throw, it's because of bad footwork. It has nothing to do with your arm. It has to do with your feet. The one thing I like is Vennet Kluster ran hard all the way down the line and put pressure on Cintron. Ball chopped over in the hole right there. Yeah, his footwork wasn't so bad. He just kind of short-armed the throw, and Javi Lopez in that situation tries to pick it. Couldn't do it, and the run scores.
Lopez is not an experienced first baseman, but there's not much you can do here. That's a weird bounce, too, that came up off the turf. Bad throw, E6, and it's a 3-1 ball game. So 2 outs. Here's the catcher, Sidney de Jong, and the Netherlands with a chance to capitalize. Again, Dirk van 't Klooster is the Dutch MVP of this past year. This is a quality player, the Dutch level. Javi Lopez, again, is going to move to first base this year. It'll prolong your career. I know Steve Metz went through that with Mike Piazza. It did not work out. He's not able to play first base. You think that Javi Lopez will be able to play first base?
I do. I think he's going to have a little more mobility over there, and he's going to probably DH 80% of the time. They do have Gibbons there that can play some first, but they're going to work him in. He's going to catch some as well, but I think they have him in the lineup for his bat.
That's in for a strike. 1-1.
During the regular season, it's incumbent upon players playing in the game to know the speed of the opponent so that you know how to go after a ground ball and how to move. In this sort of tournament environment where you don't necessarily know the opponents, you may not know the speed. It looked like Cintrone a little bit surprised as to how van 't Klooster got down the line.
That's up to Javi Lopez. Nicely done. Kept the glove down. And that's out number 3. But an error, a gift from Puerto Rico. And the Netherlands is on the board. We played 4. It's 3-1. You're watching ESPN's telecast of the World Baseball Classic presented by Taco Bell. This is action in Pool C from Hiram Bithorn Stadium in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action. 3-1 Puerto Rico with the lead on the Netherlands. Opening game for the Netherlands. New pitcher as Joel Pinheiro comes out. Willie Collazo coming in with the Mets organization this year. Just signed on with them only days ago. He'll come in for Puerto Rico, and joining us right now is the pitching coach for the Netherlands. 211 major league wins, was 27-6 in an incredible 1990. It's Bob Welch. Bob, what do you think you're pitching so far today?
Hey man, we're only -2. -2 in the bottom of the 5th. Ready to go.
Hey, Rob Quartermans, what did you think? Again, he struck out 4 guys, had that great changeup. What are your thoughts on him?
Well, he did well. We talked about Javi. I think Javi Lopez loves to sit on that soft stuff anytime it's up. I heard Don Sutton mention that 50 times. And don't just throw a breaking ball over to him for a strike. He gets that pitch, he hits it over the fence. Give him credit.
Bob, young Alex Smith pitching in this game, 20 years old, really just a rookie ball, A-ball pitcher. What do you tell him as part of the learning process? You're a minor league coach. What do you tell him to help him work through this?
Well, the one thing he has good location with his fastball. He's very nervous. I walked out there. He needed a breath, so we kind of gave him one. Get over his head. Go, 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 go. Get out. Thank you.
Does indeed, and bounces over the fence. Riley Lehito.
Riley can hit. Yeah. But, it's just like anything. We need a good location with our fastball. He's got a good fastball, but he was very nervous, but he throws the ball extremely well. And he's going to get a chance to do it again.
Hey, Bob, tell us what this means to guys like Lehito and, van 't Klooster, the guys who play in the Dutch league, to be able to compete. We just saw Vendern speak, too, get that strikeout on Beltran. He was so excited. What does it mean to those guys?
Oh, it's a tremendous honor. I've never participated in anything like this. I love the game, and I'm really happy that I have an opportunity to do this. Our skipper asked me, and to be over here and being a part of it. I've never been in the Caribbean or participated in any winter ball. The people here are wonderful. They love it. The guys on this team love it. And, hey, we're in this game right here, especially we scored this point.
Hey, Bob, thanks for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks,
get
Bob.
out, get out, get out.
And no, it didn't go down, and Eugene Kingsale tried to lay down the bunt. You heard Bob Welch still reacting there. Bob wants to get back into this game because this could still be an opportunity. Kingsale tried to lay one down. Lehito will have to stay at second base, 1 out and still 1 on.
Well, Kingsale, this has to be part of his game. If he wants to get back with a major league club, and he has to bunt. Leadoff hitter, he can run. He's trying to get out of the box a little too much. This is a situation right now. If you're going to try to advance the runner here, you're down a couple runs. I just assume you try to swing the bat or get a base hit out of this, but you can't pop it up and easy out.
Urandale de Caster is the hitter. Bounced out, drawn a walk. In for a strike from Collazo. Collazo, 26 years old. Again, didn't have the great numbers you saw there in the minor leagues, but he'll get a look from the Mets. Was signed while we were in camp this past weekend, Steve.
Well, Mets looking for a lefty reliever, so they're having a tryout camp, and give him a try.
All right, so missed there, and it's 1-1. Let's go back to Jose Mota. Jose?
Watching from where I'm at and from the vantage point, his stance on the caster, he puts a lot of weight in his front leg, but what he does is he's able to transfer back to load up quite nicely. A lot of times you see a guy loading up early in his front leg, but you got to make sure as a hitting coach, and Bam Bam Mullins has been really on him about this, is, you know, okay, you feel comfortable because maybe you feel if he load up in the backside, that's going to take you forward too early. Well, that's the idea. He loads up early in the front leg, then he comes back.
Left field, high fly ball. Luis Matos is there, a lot of room, and that's out number 2.
Well, the challenge in that situation for DeCastro with the weight up front is that your timing, be able to get it back enough to be able to launch toward the ball. And you see DeCastro's weight up front. He gets it back, but not quite back far enough to be able to drive the ball. But he has figured something out with his swing. We talked about this year hit 280 in AAA, but went to the Venezuelan Winter League, hit 17 home runs, 2 off the all-time record for the Venezuelan Winter League. So he put up some big numbers. He's figuring out, but when you have your weight forward, have to shift back, it's about timing. You have to get it back so you get your foot up and down to the ground before the pitch gets to the plate.
Here's Ivan Coffey with a man on second. Again, if you get that bunt down, that fly ball will bring in a run. Poor execution for the Netherlands, and down by 2. And once again, the 3-hitter is batting in a big spot. And it's not Andrew Jones. That's a strike. No, you're Ivan Coffey's going to have to shut me up. Look, if you have Ivan Coffey.
Well, if he doesn't, I might.
But it doesn't make you any more right.
No, I know.
Coffey rips that base hit. Ivan Coffey comes through. Could have a play to the plate. Strong throw from Alexis Rios, but not in time. And the Netherlands gets within 1. And Ivan Coffey, who plays for Instant Holland Almere, makes it a 3-2 ball game.
Well, I tell you, lucky for you, he got a base hit right there, because I was going to unleash on you. Good piece of hitting right there by Kofi, and just jumped all over that fastball inside against the left-hander as well. And good piece of hitting.
But Kofi played in 2004 with the Astros organization, but in Double-A, played briefly with the Orioles, and here that's a nice stroke.
Well, fastball out over the plate. He kind of hooked it through the hole over there, and not enough velocity to get away from him. Good piece of hit.
And now here is Andrew Jones, big gun for the Netherlands. 0 for 2 though, ground out and a strikeout. I'm just saying, you have a guy who played in Double-A last year, and you have Andrew Jones. Rather have Andrew Jones. Not looking in hindsight.
Now you got a chance for Andrew Jones to hit a 2-run homer to give you the lead. It's perfect, I'm telling you.
Then you can
Robert
argue that
Einhorn is the manager of the World Baseball Classic so far. One thing we know for sure, Kofi's not running anywhere. You have to give Andrew a chance to hit one out.
Out of the strike zone there. It's 1-1. Jones, you know, the downside is a low batting average, low on base, low walk total. The upside is the Gold Gloves in center field. The upside is the total bases. He was 4th in the National League last year, 337. He slugged .575. That's number 5 in the National League. 51 home runs. Broke the Braves record, which is saying something. Outside for a ball.
You know, Andrew had such an interesting year with all of the home runs and the RBI, only hitting 208 with runners in scoring position. Just very peculiar numbers. And I think that ultimately some of those numbers hurt him in the MVP balloting, because he didn't hit with runners in scoring position, and Pujols' numbers were phenomenal.
The 3-1, and he walked him.
Well, we talked to Jose Oquendo earlier, and he said, you know, we're going to pitch around Andrew a little bit. Not necessarily a situation right there. You're going to play no doubles with Andrew Jones up to keep the ball in front, but now Randall Simon up with runner in scoring position.
Riley Lejito led off with a double, and then Eugene Kingsale popped up his bunt, then a fly out, and it looked like Puerto Rico could get it out of this, and Willie Colezo could just cruise through his first inning of work. Hasn't worked out that way though, with Ivan Kofi drilling a base hit. Now the walk to Andrew Jones.
Well, pressure situation. Colezo out there and got himself in a little bit of a jam here.
And a big moment here for Randall Simon, and we've seen already in this game that Simon is going full tilt. Simon is bounced out but then had a single and got to second base on an error. He is ready to run hard. He's been fielding his position well, and now he's got 2 on with 2 outs. Bouncer, second base, and covering his Glazer. Oh, no! And a bad throw from Cora. Play to the plate. Safe. Play to third. Safe. And the Netherlands putting it all together. It's a tie ball game. Wow. We've seen sloppy fielding here by Puerto Rico.
Yeah, they're giving him some gifts, and Collazo at first base got over, but the soft toss by Cora up high tipped off his glove and bounced away. See Collazo get over to first base. Cora makes the flip, but flips it high. Collazo took his eye off it in order to touch the base as well, but really Cora's got to make a better toss than that to the pitcher.
Unexpectedly, the Netherlands is right back in this game. Another run comes in. We're tied up. We're back in a moment. We return here in San Juan as the Netherlands, the beneficiary of an error, and it's tied up 3-3. So an unearned run on the error by Cora. And Orlando Roman comes on to face Charnel Adrana. Andrew Jones at third. Randall Simon is at first. So first and third, 3-3 ball game. Orlando Roman with Binghamton last year in Double-A. There goes the runner. Fly ball center field. Carlos Beltran is there, and he makes the catch. So Roman gets the out, but the error brings in an additional run. Big 2-out hitting by Ivanon Kofi. It's a 3-3 ball game.
This telecast of the World Baseball Classic, presented by Taco Bell, is brought to you by MLB 06 The Show, now available on PlayStation 2 and PlayStation Portable.
Brand new ball game, top of the 6th. Again, Puerto Rico is the away team here, road team, even though they're playing in San Juan, here at Bithorn Stadium. Balmy night, beautiful evening, cooled off here in the mid to upper 70s. Thick, heavy air that is knocking down a lot of balls, but not the one destroyed by Javi Lopez. But now an error leads to the tying run, and again some clutch hitting by the Netherlands. And Jair Jurgens will come in here in a tie ball game. Jurgens, Class A last year for the Detroit Tigers. He'll face Alex Cintron. Inside for a ball.
Well, Cintron every at bat is kind of squared around, and I think he's jumping around too much. Look at that first pitch if you're going to take it, because he's not looking to bunt. Look at it so that when you're swinging, you're looking at it from the same line of sight. He squares around. I think it affects his look.
In for a strike. We're seeing some decent pitching here. Now again, Jurgens is only a Class A in West Michigan for the Tigers, but had 108 strikeouts in 142 innings. Pretty good rate, and only 36 walks, so a good ratio as well, Steve. And we saw Vanderspeak look very good in the last half inning. Up high for a ball, 2-1.
Well, I tell you, you know, the numbers tell part of the story, but the stuff is the other thing. You know, Jurgens throwing 92, 93 miles per hour. He has some good stuff, some life on his fastball. That's what makes it difficult for the hitters to hit.
2-1, back up the middle. Whoa, off the bag, and Riley Lajito was there, but it goes over his head. Lajito had nice range on that, Steve, but not much he could do as it hopped over his head.
Well, he was in exactly the right spot. Unfortunately, somebody put that base there. It's been there for over 100 years, but the ball doesn't always find it, and there it is. Ball hits the bag. Lajito in position to make the play. It would have been a fine play, ranging far to his left.
That's exactly what he was thinking. Look at that. He said, man, I had that. And it looked like he did. One on, nobody out. Leadoff man is on for Luis Matos. Matos has struck out, walked.
Jurgens throws over to first. We heard Jose Oquendo say, talk to the guys. He wanted to be more aggressive, get them going. He has really started the runners, particularly in the bottom part of the lineup here, getting things going, getting things moving. The sluggers, the thumpers are up top. He wants to use some hit and run and get guys moving.
Missed for a ball at 94 miles an hour. Jurgens just turning 20 years old. So again, I mentioned 12 players from the Netherlands in some form of Major League Baseball or minor league baseball. This is a nice young player. Had a very good year in the Midwest League. And now here on the big stage in the World Baseball Classic. That's a foul ball, 1-1. Let's go back to Jose Mota. Jose, what do you got?
Well, you guys talk about the timing and running the bases, and Jose Oquendo saying let's be more aggressive. Well, the reason is, and I've seen the communication between the first base coach Ivan de Jesus. He's got the timer over there, and immediately he was flashing on the starter from the Netherlands a 1-5, and no variation on his move, no sidestep, nothing like that. So right now they're trying to gauge also how slow or fast the guy on the mound is.
Nice inside stuff, Jose. Thank you. Getting tough to get the scouting report when you're looking at a kid from the Midwest League, but I guess evidently, especially what Jose is telling us, and get it pretty quickly. 1-1 with Cintron at first. I know, Steve, you were saying that there's going to be a lot of scouts here to get a look at Cuba. Who knows if anybody defects now or ever, but this is a chance to see these guys and get a scouting report.
You know, you don't get many opportunities to see the Cuban players because scouts are not allowed to go into Cuba and watch their leagues. That's one of the rules, and everybody's prohibited. So these international tournaments are where you get a chance to look at them.
Center field and deep. Andrew Jones can't get to that. One hopper over the wall, ground rule double. Matos gave that a ride.
Well, the ball bouncing over the wall probably cost Puerto Rico a run right there. With Cintron on base, that ball kicks off the wall and stays in the park. He probably scores from first base. You see Matos here gets a good fastball down in the zone, does a nice job, keeps his hands inside. Nice stroke, rotates those hips. That's an outstanding swing, hitting against the front leg, driving it to center field. The one thing we know, that ball could not have been caught, because if Andrew Jones can't catch it, nobody can.
Jones still with the great range. And he got nowhere near it. So kind of a hard luck base hit given up by Jurgens. But that one was just hit hard. Jose Valentin. 2 for 2 in this ball game. Steps up in a tie ball game and nobody out. Puerto Rico with a chance to take the lead back. Fouled back, 0-1.
Robert Einhorn opting to play the infield back in this situation with nobody out and runners on second and third. He has to play the infield back to try to avoid the big inning. You can't play the infield in. A little base hit, Squibber gets through, gives up 2 runs. You'll give up 1 run. It's early enough in the game to get an out. You don't have to avoid a big inning right here. If he gets an out, he may ultimately try to pull the infield in.
Nice off speed, but up high. Jurgens gets it to 1-1.
Jose Valentin looking for a pitch that he can drive right now, or to get a ground ball up the middle. He'll take the RBI. A ground ball to second base gets the runner from second over and the man from third base in. So if he can pull this 93, 94 mile an hour fastball, he's going to try to do it.
1-1 missed. 2-1. Cintron on third. Luis Matos on second with a crushing double.
This is a situation for Valentin that you might get up on the plate, forcing them to either pitch you in or get you closer to a ball out over the plate that you can hit the grounder to second.
Nice smoke there at 94 miles an hour. 2-2. Yair Jurgens, 20 years old.
See him there. He is trying to hook that ball. He kind of reached out trying to see if he could pull it. Bat slipped out of his hand a little bit.
A Spider-Man sweatsuit there underneath, huh?
I like that look.
Showing the orange, traditional orange for Holland. Did he get the inside part of the plate? No, he didn't.
Well, that's a good pitch right there, though. That's an excellent try. That was very, very close. For Jurgens, a young kid, they kept going away, and Valentin knew he had to keep trying to hook that pitch. And they'd say, okay, you know what, let's sneak one in inside there.
Yeah, that's close.
That's a real tough pitch right there. Close. He wanted it.
So did Bob Welch in the dugout. 3-2. Men on second and third. Nobody out. Puerto Rico giving up the lead, trying to get it back. Robert Einhorn looks on with his young pitcher in a spot. Ripped to right field. Caught by Vanit-Kluster. The throw into the plate, not in near enough time, and Puerto Rico gets the lead back, and both runners advance.
Good piece of hitting by Valentin there. He got a pitch he could yank and pull to right field. They set up inside again there. I think I would have gone away. You had him aware of coming inside. He tries it. Vanit-Kluster moves toward the ball. Good base running. The run scores and advances to third base.
You know, Steve, I think that's a 20-year-old guy who just wants to strike. Doesn't want to give something up. That's a product of a 3-2 count.
Well, it's interesting because you know, Dione, the catcher, he moved inside, so they actually tried. He threw it where they wanted it to go. I think you got to throw that fastball away in that situation.
Here's Alex Cora, whose error led to a big inning, and they lays one down. Run comes in, out is scored, but the second run comes in for Puerto Rico, and they take a 5-3 lead. Want to cash in that run, and Jose Oquendo does just that.
Well, that's why it was excellent base running by Matos to advance to third on the fly ball to right. And let's listen. Jose Oquendo is the bench coach for Tony La Russa. What major league team executes the squeeze bunt? The St. Louis Cardinals are the best in baseball at doing it. It's Cora's job. He's outstanding, does the little things right. Well timed. Matos, great jump off the bag. Outstanding bunt by Cora. No chance at the plate. We talked about it earlier. Alex Cora does not have the tools or the athletic ability. He's a baseball player.
Puerto Rico getting their runs as Bernie Williams steps in on a sacrifice fly and a squeeze bunt. So a lot of little ball here in tournament baseball. And Bernie Williams having a very big tournament. The fourth inning had an RBI single as runner was thrown out at the plate. Otherwise, you would characterize it as a double, as it was a blast to right field over the head of Dirk Vanit-Kluster. One hopper off the wall, but man cut down at the plate. So Bernie gets credit for the RBI single. 2-0 to Bernie Williams. Foul back, 2-1.
Well, Tony La Russa has to be home watching. He'll be watching the game. He's going to be very proud of Jose Oquendo. That's the way the St. Louis Cardinals play baseball. They execute runners on base, advance them, get runs in, and then they play small ball. They play to the personnel. Alex Cora is not a guy who's going to hit it out of the ballpark. He's not a sack fly type offensive player in that situation. He's a guy you squeeze bunt with and very well executed.
2-2. It's fouled straight back by Bernie Williams. Bernie Williams has seen a lot of pitches in this game, even on the occasion where he'll fly out, he might strike out, and he's done both in this game. He'll work it to 2-2, 3-2 every time, Steve, every time.
Well, he's a veteran hitter. He knows how to battle a count. He'll fight off some pitches and wait to get one. He can do something with it.
Outside, and now it's 3-2. That whole philosophy in the Yankees dynasty. Wade Boggs went over to the Yankees. Chuck Knobloch and Derek Jeter followed suit. Bernie Williams and then Posada. Up and down, they would work it. Get the great pitchers out of the game in the sixth inning. Full count to Bernie Williams. Fouled back again, and he's making Yair Jurgens work. If they can do it to Pedro Martinez, he can do it to Yair Jurgens.
Well, I tell you, the way to work the count, you have to have confidence in your ability. You can't have a fear of hitting with 2 strikes. A lot of people are afraid with 2 strikes, and I'll tell you what, the crowd's back in this game with this big inning here for Puerto Rico.
Fouled back again.
Bernie just wants to keep hearing him chant his name. He's going to keep following him off. He likes to hear it.
And why not? Again, it's just a perfect thing for Bernie, Steve, at this point in his career, where he comes back, and I talked to him in camp, and I said, well, a lot of people are happy. Yankee fans are happy you're back with the Yanks. And he said, you know, it just makes too much sense because I can't go anywhere else. So he signs it for much less money than he was used to making, but he stays put. Struck him out. Jurgens does get his man as he strikes out Bernie Williams, but Puerto Rico is back on top, 5-3 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. You're watching ESPN's telecast of the World Baseball Classic presented by Taco Bell. This is action in Pool C from Hiram Bithorn Stadium in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Due to time constraints, we will move ahead further action after these messages.
This telecast of the World Baseball Classic is presented by the Taco Bell Crunchwrap Supreme. Now you're good to go.
Here in San Juan, we're there at the port of San Juan, cruise ship there. Docked in Puerto Rico, out of a jam, and they stay up on top 5-3. Pudge Rodriguez lead things off way inside Jurgens. Pudge Rodriguez, Carlos Beltran, and Javi Lopez scheduled for Puerto Rico. Here in the top of the 7th. Big defensive play by Alex Cora, keeping Puerto Rico on top and avoiding a mini disaster there in the bottom of the 6th. Fastball hit to right field. Vanek Kuster going back, way back, gone! Pudge Rodriguez with a home run. Brings the power in the opposite field and puts it out, and that could be it for Jurgens.
A good piece of hitting by Pudge, and this is patience. This is letting the ball get back into the zone. You see him hit the ball deep into the zone. His normal swing to rotate doesn't reach for it. Good power to right field. Vander Kluster just watches that one go out. And they love Pudge here in Puerto Rico.
Long chat out there on the hill with Yair Jurgens. Einhorn out there, 6'3", starting to get out of striking distance for the Netherlands. Carlos Beltran stepping up to the plate.
Robert Einhorn, the manager for the Netherlands, just got tossed out of the game. He went out to the mound to argue and just tossed him out of the game.
Kevin Causey coming out there, home plate umpire. Was he out there too long? Was it just something he said once the umpire came out?
No, he went out there to talk to the umpire. I mean, there wasn't any other reason for him to go out. He had some problem. I don't know, it was a pitch he missed or something.
Yeah, what could he be arguing about?
I don't know.
I haven't seen calls that have been missed. I think he's saying I can see it from in there. If I'm kind of putting that together, not able to read lips, but that's what it seems to be. But I can't recall some sort of controversial call where the Netherlands got jobbed or seemingly got jobbed. That could leave Bam Bam Mullins in charge, the bench coach. There'll be a pitching change as well. So Einhorn is going to stay out there. I think you'd have to physically remove him at this point.
Well, they got ejected, but they're going to let me. All right, just go ahead and make the pitch move, then we'll let you get out.
But then get out of here, will you? Do me a favor. Dave Dreyer will come in for Yair Jurgens, and Einhorn will watch it on TV. 6-3 in the 7th. There is the Netherlands Brain Trust. Robert Einhorn just a moment ago, I mean seconds before we came back, finally got out of the dugout. Dave Dreyer, who has a vicious ERA in the Dutch League, comes on to face Carlos Beltran. Beltran drills this deep. Beltran drills this out. Back-to-back home runs by Puerto Rico.
what they came here to see. They wanted to see some offense from their stars, and the players are delivering tonight to their hometown fans. Beltran hit a blast right there. That's a good-looking stroke. Remember, he had 8 in the postseason with the Astros. That's a fastball right down the middle, and he just, look at that swing. That is a sweet swing, and now the next guy gets hit.
Oh. How about that? Javi Lopez, who already has a home run in this game, hit by Dreyer. Are you kidding me? Dave Dreyer, first pitch is destroyed. Second pitch hits Javi Lopez.
We saw a game with Panama and Cuba earlier today where 8 hitters got plunked in that game. But yeah, you've got guys here right now that are playing in the World Baseball Classic who have significant contracts. There's no need for that. It wasn't Javi Lopez's fault that ball got hit out of the park. You threw the pitch.
Ricky Leday will pinch hit here. What? Explain that to me, Steve. I mean, is there any chance he threw that on purpose? I mean, that's the only thing you can figure, but why? Are you sending a message? Why? What message? Is he out?
Tom Hallion's coming out. He's issuing a warning to both teams in this situation. And
Brian Farley, by the way, is the bench coach for the Netherlands, so now he seemingly will represent the Netherlands as they start to come apart. I mean, after you back-to-back home runs and you hit the next guy, you really have to make a case that you didn't mean to hit him, and that's ridiculous. That's Bush League play to drill somebody after you've given up a home run. That's not retaliating for someone got buzzed. That's just punishing the next guy for your deficiencies.
Well, you know, look, part of baseball development around the world is starting to understand the right thing and the wrong thing to do. And you know, you see the game played, and when you don't understand the nuances of the game, you think, oh, somebody hits 2 home runs, the next guy should get hit. It's not appropriate. The fans are obviously vocalizing their opinion about what happened. Tom Hallion has stepped in. Major League Baseball rules indicate when somebody's hit intentionally that a warning gets issued. He's implemented that here in this situation, trying to keep this under control. Absolutely, we do not want this to get out of control and out of hand. This is not what the World Baseball Classic is about. It got out of control a little bit when Robert Einhorn started arguing. Now his players have lost their emotional control as well. The umpires are trying to get it back under control.
Steve, I don't like it in Major League Baseball. I don't like it at any level of baseball. It's not something to be done. Again, it's a Bush League tactic. It's one thing if you're protecting your hitter. Your guy got buzzed. You have to do what you have to do. There's no excuse for it there. Dave Dreyer comes on. Again, plays for the Konica Minolta Pioneers in the Dutch League as Ricky Leday takes a strike. He's got a fabulous ERA in the Dutch Major League, 0.96. 23 strikeouts in 28 innings. He's pitched in 43 international games for the Netherlands, so it's not like he's come up out of nowhere. He's 32 years old. He's been around. That's just what he did, and it's not right.
Nope, and I hope that I suspect that Puerto Rico probably will end up retaliating at some point in the game.
Ricky Leday shoots this foul. Let's take a look at Pudge Rodriguez, who hit the first home run here in the 7th, and after a man gets plunked, he's out wondering what's going on. What is that?
They've gotten him a little bit uptight. Now, you know, if the way to handle it, even for Puerto Rico, is not to come right out first pitch, hit somebody. You play the game, and then you find a spot later to send a message.
Good off-speed pitch there by Dreyer. And he gets Ricky Leday. That's a nice piece of pitching. Some composure and poise that we didn't see initially.
That was the same guy, right? The same guy just did that threw the first pitch and plunked him. So had pretty good command to Ricky Leday.
Leday pinch hitting for Alexis Rios, strikes out. And Alex Cintron lifts this to center field. Andrew Jones is there, and now 2 outs. 4-run lead for Puerto Rico. But again, this is the top of the 7th inning, so 9 outs left for the Netherlands. They're not done. It's just starting to get out of control. And again, this is just 1 loss. Long way to go, even in round-robin play.
Well, you like to see the emotion and passion in these games. but you don't want anybody to get hurt from a brawl or a fight. And I suspect Jose Oquendo to tell his guys, look, let's stay cool here. We've got to make sure we keep everybody healthy.
It's really not worth it, is it, Steve? I don't even know. Even to plunk somebody in the 9th inning, why? I mean, what would you be showing? You're
unlikely to play them again. It just doesn't make any sense to be able to do it. I mean, there's that whole thing about sending a message and protecting your guys, and that's something players feel strongly about.
Missed on the inside part of the plate. I like Kevin Causey's body language back there, by the way. Just a classic umpire will take a long look as if to tell the pitcher, that was close, but I couldn't quite give it to you. And on the outside part of the plate, when he reels back and looks the other way, as if he can't bear to look into a pitcher's eyes. And that's up high. 3-0. The subtlety of the umpire. Puerto Rico getting it done in many ways. 7 players have hits, 6 players have an RBI, 5 different players have scored, and 4 straight to Luis Matos, and Dreyer walks him. 2 on, 2 outs, and Jose Valentin will step in. I know you want to hear Ernesto Jerez's calls on those home runs, Steve.
Now, why do you say that?
I know you do.
You know what? He is pretty entertaining.
You know what?
Though.
I want to hear it too.
Do you think Robert Einhorn's in the clubhouse listening to us, or you think he's listening to Ernesto?
Einhorn?
Yeah.
He's listening to us.
Because he.
You think he knows Spanish?
I don't know. Well, maybe. He's managing players from Curacao.
Now that you're telling him that there's a better play-by-play guy in there.
No. You've done great. You've been awesome.
I'm glad to see I've brought out your sense of humor. That's what I'm glad. I've achieved one thing here. Rip to left field, and that dips down foul. Plunked down the left side by Valentin. It's my job to make sure you have fun.
Well, thank you very much. You've done a great job of it so far.
At least I've done that.
Keep up the good work.
Look, if Valentin buries this, I'm going to go out of my mind. Will that make you feel better?
Well, I'm figuring if he gets a hit, you might think he ought to be batting third. I don't know.
Sabermetrically unsound thought. 2 on, 2 out. Dave Dreyer trying to get out of this situation. Too far inside, and it's 2-1. Puerto Rico trying to get to 2-0. There's Andrew Jones in center field, who's the cleanup hitter for the Netherlands. He's had a relatively quiet night, fouled back. Jones has walked, struck out, bounced out, hasn't done much here. The Netherlands getting a big break on an error by Alex Cora. Cora with a good defensive play later in the game, though. Big 6th inning double play to snuff out a rally and keep it a 2-run game at the time. Those were big runners at the time, Steve. The 2-2. He painted there and he struck him out. But back-to-back home runs and then a poor decision. Pudge Rodriguez, then Carlos Beltran. Will there be retaliation, though, after Javi Lopez is plunked? We're back to find out in San Juan in a moment. You're watching ESPN's telecast of the World Baseball Classic presented by Taco Bell. This is action in Pool C from Hiram Bithorn Stadium in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action. We return to Puerto Rico here. This is El Morro Fort, one of the largest forts built by the Spaniards in the Caribbean in 1898, well before Sandy Amaros made that catch, Steve. American ships fired on it in the Spanish-American War, destroyed the lighthouse. It was later restored. El Morro Fort here in Puerto Rico. 7-3, top of the 9th. Again, Puerto Rico, the host nation, is the away team here in this game against the Netherlands. So the Netherlands will get one more shot, but against a stacked up Puerto Rico bullpen. Not anticipating a big eruption from the Netherlands. The Netherlands will go at it tomorrow night against Cuba. South Africa takes on Mexico, 10 a.m. Eastern time. See that on ESPN Deportes. Italy versus the Dominican Republic at 1 o'clock Eastern time. The World Baseball Classic presented by Taco Bell. Every game of the World Baseball Classic available on ESPN Deportes. Bergman still on the hill for the Netherlands as that ball is ripped to right field. Ramblay goes after that. And Ricky Leday goes into second base. Danny Ramblay came in to pinch hit for Dirk Vanitskluster. Collected that, not much he could do to stop that from being a double. Leday is on. Leday coming on for Alexis Rios. Struck out his first time up, but crunches this.
Now fastball out over the plate. Leday jumps all over that ball up in the zone, and Jose Oquendo has got to be happy with the offense tonight. They've scored in 5 different innings, wanting to make it 6 here. That's what you want.
Cintron to second base to Castor. Gets the out, and the runner advances. Leday is at third.
Good piece of hitting by Cintron. He knows that's his job. Getting his reps in, good execution. Advance the runner from second to third with nobody out. Getting the pat on the back from his teammates. They know that's good, solid baseball.
Luis Matos comes up. Matos with a double in this ball game. 2 walks and struck out his first time up. Matos has looked good in this game.
He's a talented guy. He just, he's underachieved a little bit in Baltimore, and they keep waiting for him to break out. But there's some talent there.
Infield is in. A man on third and 1 out. And the Netherlands trying to keep this within 4. And it's a tall order when you're looking at J.C. Romero on the other side. And even with that, Jose Oquendo has all sorts of options and missed on the outside part of the plate. 2-0.
Well, Puerto Rico's been very good in situational hitting tonight. A couple of sac flies in the 6th inning. We had a squeeze bunt earlier in the game, so they're getting runners in scoring position, and they're taking advantage of trying to get that run in. Good, solid situational baseball.
Luis Rojas getting ready in the bullpen. That ball is stroked. Fair ball. Matos drives in a run. Leday steps on the plate, and it's 8-3 Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico spreads it out and could be sitting pretty. In Pool C.
Berkman's getting his fastballs up in the zone right there, and the umpires swallowed his tongue because he's jumping out of the way from that line drive.
I think he made the right call, though.
Well, he got turned around a little bit there. Had to figure out, get his bearings. He made the right call. Now he's running away, saying, "I'm out of here."
He's saying, "No, no, 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 no."
My corn's on my feet. Look out.
You are anti-umpire, aren't you? Good call. Bergman is coming out. Yes. What do you say to that? Not much at this point. 2-0. Close win last night. 5-run lead right here in the 9th inning. Pitching change for the Netherlands. We'll step away. We're back in San Juan. We're back here in the top of the 9th. 8-3. Puerto Rico on top. Ricky Leday with a leadoff double. And Luis Matos with the base hit and the RBI. And Nick Stoifbergen comes in for the Netherlands. Ruben Gotay came in as a replacement in this game, steps in for the first time tonight, takes the ball up high.
Gotay, second baseman, Kansas City Royals organization. Started a good part of the year last year, but now they picked up Mark Rizlanek, and I think Gotay may get some time at AAA to refine his game. The bat's there. Got to shore up the defense a little bit and need some more reps in the minor leagues.
Gotay puts this into center field, and Andrew Jones makes it 2 out. Is that the right move for the Kansas City Royals? I mean, the team that's contending can use Rizlanek, but if you're the Royals, you're not going to win this year. Why?
Well, I think that they're trying to be a little more competitive. I mean, I think a lot of questions there about, if they've invested the revenue sharing and luxury tax money that they've gotten and not spent it on players. So I think they're trying to be a little more competitive and maybe let some of these young kids get a little more time instead of just struggling and dying at the major league level. But when he's ready, Gotay will be the second baseman of the future there.
Here's Alex Cora with 2 outs and a man on second. I think you're better off hitting bottom if you have to and bounce back and have a plan, you know, for 3 years down the road. I know sometimes a GM might not want to think that way because you might not be there 3 years down the road. There's a strike, 1-1.
Well, I think there's some of those decisions in Kansas City have been ownership driven and not even the general manager. I mean, I think for the longest time there were limitations on payroll, and now I think because of the criticism, they've said, look, we want to spend some money upgrading some areas, and they've done it. Added a couple pitchers, and Reggie Sanders and Gritzlonic.
Way up high. Oh, look, that should have been an outfield with Jermaine Dye and Johnny Damon and Carlos Beltran for years to come. If you had the old, you know, Cleveland Indians, John Hart philosophy, you sew those guys up and you keep them there for years.
Yeah, they were playing with a $35 million payroll, and there's not enough money to sew up. No. You'd have 3 outfielders, but you wouldn't have anybody else on the field.
Just up high from Stoifbergen.
Alex Cora has really had a super ball game tonight. He made the one error on the toss to first base, but you know, he had the squeeze bunt, a couple of fantastic plays in the field, a big double play in a critical situation when the Netherlands were rallying. Heads-up player.
Second base, DeCaster is there, and did they get it? Yes, they did. Randall Simon, good scoop. Chris. 8-3, Puerto Rico on top, and Chris Rojas will try to close it out for Carlos Beltran and Team Puerto Rico as they have a day off coming their way and could go to 2-0 here with 3 more outs. You can watch your team's out-of-market games live anywhere you like, right on your desktop, in your computer. Go to ESPN.com and search MLB TV and sign up today. Chris Rojas with Reading, 12-6. He's in the Pittsburgh Pirates organization, and then moved up to Scranton Wilkes-Barre in AAA. I have, in 131 innings in Reading, 107 strikeouts for Rojas, 3 walks. If that's not a typo, Steve, it's the best I've ever seen. All time, any level.
Then I bet it's a typo.
It could be. That includes American Legion ball. 107 strikeouts and 3 walks.
That would be pretty good.
That's good. I don't know what the ratio is, but it's very, very good. Riley Lajito leading off for the Netherlands. They're down by 5. Down to their last 3 outs. There's the Netherlands down right now. Long way to go, though. They have Cuba tomorrow night. Cuba looked very good in spots this afternoon in beating Panama, but certainly not unbeatable. Made a lot of mistakes in the field. This ball into center field, and Beltran with ease collects it. Depends on the pitching, I guess, Steve, but I would say Cuba looked a little better than the Netherlands from what we've seen. I would say that. Would you say that?
Yeah, the Cuban team has the depth there, and you know, in any one game, that's why there can be upsets, because the difference between the Netherlands and Puerto Rico is obviously there's a talent differential, but on any given day, the Netherlands can beat any of these teams in the tournament. They can win. It's the consistency over a long period of time, but when you're playing in a round-robin tournament where you're playing 3 games to advance, you can win. They can win 2 out of 3. They can advance, and obviously off to a tough start here tonight, but there's no reason why on a single day they can't upset somebody, as they have already done in the past with Cuba.
Here's Eugene Kingsale, leadoff hitter. Kingsale broke into the majors in 1996. He's been around, ground ball, go tie, and that's out number 2. Kingsale, by the way, has been knighted from Aruba, knighted by Queen Beatrix in 2003. So I guess it would be Sir Eugene Kingsale.
Haven't we all been knighted?
You worked in Queens. You never knighted by Queen Beatrix. Who knew there was a Queen Beatrix? Netherlands players look glum here. Got to snap back in tournament play. Get 2 outs. Urandel DeCaster steps in. Puerto Rican pitching in the series, allowing only 2 earned runs, 17 2/3. They've had very good bullpen work. And that's in for a strike, so Jose Oquendo sitting pretty. 2-0 in Pool C, if he can just get this final out, and then with a day off, the 1-1. The Netherlands once again will come back and take on Cuba tomorrow night here at Hiram Bithorn Stadium. And yet it's so close. Look, it was close for Oquendo to get that win over Panama. Cuba came inches away from losing to Panama. 1-2, one strike away. The crowd here in San Juan now standing. Their host team has played well and looking to get to 2-0. Rojas misses outside.
And make no doubt about it, they win tonight, and if Cuba wins tomorrow, Puerto Rico is going to be juiced for that game on Friday, where Cuba and Puerto Rico square off.
He struck him out, and Rojas finishes in style. Puerto Rico with the show of power here tonight. A close win last night against Panama, but 3 home runs this evening, and Puerto Rico beats the Netherlands. 8-3 is your final. So Puerto Rico now 2-0. Panama down at 0-2. It'll be the Netherlands and Cuba in a pivotal matchup here tomorrow night. We thank you so much for joining us here in San Juan. I'm Brian Kenny for Steve Phillips and Jose Mota. Again, your final score, Puerto Rico 8, the Netherlands 3. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Good night from San Juan.